box. You opened it. But if you need, we'll tear your soul apart. The box. You opened it. We came. Now we'll tear your soul apart.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Halloween edition. Today we're going to be talking about Hellraiser. Now, before we get into this review, I have to thank a coworker of mine named Ethan, because if it wasn't for him, I would have never watched this movie, okay? I knew about this movie. I've seen the picture before of Pinhead. I just never had an interest in watching it, and to be honest, it never sparked my interest, so I just never had the intention of watching it. So thank you, Ethan, because if it wasn't for you, man, I would have died. I would have left this planet without ever experiencing that masterpiece. But now I can die a happy man knowing that I've seen Hellraiser. Now, what's unique about the experience that I had with this movie is that I went into it without watching the trailer. Usually I watch the trailer of every movie that I watch, but like I said, I never had an interest in this movie, so I never seen the trailer, and I was like, you know what? I just want to go into this movie completely blind, not knowing anything, so that's exactly what I did. And so for context clues, the only things I had going into this movie was the picture of Pinhead, because he's on the cover of the movie, and then the name of the movie, which is Hellraiser. So I'm like, okay, he's probably the villain, and there's going to be something to do with hell, because the name is Hellraiser, right? Like, so those were really the only two things I had going into this movie, and I'm watching the movie an hour into it, and I'm like, wait a minute, I have yet to see Pinhead, and we're on Earth the whole time, so I've yet to see hell. Am I watching the right movie? Because I don't stream a lot of the movies I watch. I do go online and try to watch it illegally, just looking up like Hellraiser online free, and then one of the first links that works. So I was like, wait a minute, is this the wrong link? Am I watching the wrong movie and I'm wasting my time? I legitimately had that thought because I didn't watch the trailer, so I had no idea what was going on. And then we finally get Pinhead to arrive in one of the greatest introduction for horror villains I've ever seen. I mean, this scene was psychedelic and mesmerizing. I mean, you have flashing white light, there's these dark beings appearing out of nowhere, so it's like you're in a psychedelic trip. I mean, you're like, what the hell is going on? And then it's mesmerizing because it's almost like, you know, when you watch an alien abduction, it's like a big huge hovercraft and it's like a big bright light, and you're just like, whoa, you're just like in a trance almost. That's how this felt. And it reminded me a lot of Poltergeist, because I was like, this scene is very similar to a scene in Poltergeist. I mean, I'm going to pull them up side by side here, but as you can see, they're both very bright. It's very hectic. There's wind blowing in their faces. So, I mean, when I was watching the scene, that was the first thing that popped in my head. I was like, oh, this is like Poltergeist. So yeah, I'm sure the directors or the creators took some inspiration from Poltergeist, because Poltergeist did come out before Hellraiser. It came out in 82, and I believe Hellraiser came out in 87. So you never know. Poltergeist was a very popular and successful horror film in the 80s, so directors often like to do homages to other great movies, so it might have been that. I have no idea. I just know that it was very similar, and that was the first thing that popped into my head. But aside from that, the two things that made this scene so creepy is, one, this guy right here, the Chatterman. I don't know what to call him, but I'm just gonna call him the Chatterman because he has these teeth and he's just like, Okay, that's annoying. But he just pops out of nowhere and just sticks his fingers into the girl's skin, and she's screaming. I'm like, that was terrifying, man. He does not look pretty at all. I mean, by no means is he gonna be in the cover of Vogue anytime soon. Moving on, the second thing that made this scene so creepy is Pinhead's voice, dude. When he starts speaking, I'm like, oh my god, that voice works perfectly for this scene, for this character, for this, just, it works. He's all like,
the box. You opened it. We came. Now we'll tear your soul apart.
That scene was awesome. Definitely the high point in the movie for me. But let's move on to one of the flaws I want to talk about this movie. And it's not necessarily a flaw. It's just something that stood out to me. The blood in this movie is very weird. It's not like regular blood. It's like very gooey and just thick, and it has a weird noise and a weird color. It's just weird. I don't know the words to use to describe it. I just know it stood out to me, and it just wasn't normal blood. Okay? I don't think that changing the blood style added any value, so to me it was just kind of like, it was odd. So why can't it just be like regular blood? But hey, maybe I'm just crazy and just high as balls when I'm watching these movies. Let me know in the comment section. I could be wrong. But aside from that, the story of this movie is like a goddamn reality drama show. I mean, you have this innocent looking family moving into this house, and the wife is having an affair with the husband's brother. As soon as I saw the husband in the movie, I was like, oh, beta male. Beta male alert!
Beta male alert.
guy's a beta. I mean, picture perfect beta. If you had a dictionary and it had pictures instead of a definition, when you go to beta male, boom, picture of him pops up. I mean, I was like, right off the bat, I was like, oh, he's getting taken advantage of. He's providing for her and she's getting her sexual pleasures elsewhere. Bingo. Yeah, I almost felt bad for a guy. I mean, he's a beta cuck and he's just getting taken advantage of. And I mean, this movie does not hold back showing, I mean, his brother just drilling her wife. I mean, it's crazy. It's definitely crazy. And so that's the thing. The first half of the movie is centered around him and him coming back to life because he gets like the box and he dies, and then like as soon as the husband bleeds, when I was talking about the blood, it falls to the ground and then like it seeps through the floor and it gives life to this thing. Now a lot of people talk about this scene when he comes back as like really, really cool and effective visually. I thought it was alright, I'm gonna be honest. I was like, it's not bad, it's not great. I didn't think much of it. Now, the scene that I did think was awesome, this is when the movie starts getting dark, and that's when the wife starts bringing these men back, thinking that they're gonna sleep with her, and then she just whacks them with a hammer for her lover to eat and regain strength and flesh. I mean, it's like, God damn it! I mean, this is the type of shit that discourages me to go out with women. I mean, it's like the second movie now where it's like, I saw this other movie called Species where this hot ass girl just goes to the club and then just brings this guy, and this guy's like, oh my god, tonight's the night, bro. I'm gonna score, dog! Just to later find out you're gonna get eaten by an alien. It's like, god damn it. It's like we got no luck out here. But anyways, back to the point that I was making. This scene is awesome when she kills one of the guys and you get a glimpse of the lover's body just crawling through the floor, getting the victim, and then it's like, oh, that scene was very well done. Now back to the Cenobites. You don't get a lot of them in the movie, and there's some pros and cons to that. The cons is, you don't get a lot of them in the movie. It's like, they're so cool looking and dark. Like, for example, this scene right here where you see them in the room. I mean, this looks like a satanic cult ritual. Back to the dictionary. I mean, if we had a satanic cult ritual and the definition was a picture, it would be that picture. I mean, it looks dark and evil. It's super cool looking. I mean, it really works well for this movie. I think the aesthetics are awesome. So it's like you want more of it. So it's like, why did we have to wait so long for this? But the pros of that is it really leaves you wanting more. So it really leaves you excited for the second part of this movie. But all in all, I'm gonna give Hellraiser a B+. Like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's definitely not for everyone. It's very gory. It's very in the fantasy world. I mean, there's some times where you really have to stretch. So if you're not on board, you might not like it. But like I said, I was very on board with this movie, and so I really enjoyed it. And it's definitely one of those movies that I'm going to add to my Halloween classics such as Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Halloween, because it's an 80s movie and it has that 80s feel, that 80s horror like nostalgia that gives me, that not a lot of horror films give me. So I love this movie. I recommend it to people if you really like horror. If you're a kid or you're younger, it's probably not for you just yet. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about Hellraiser down in the comment section below. Did you watch it? Did you like it? As always, let me know what you guys want to see next, and I'll catch y'all later. Peace.